What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mo.J and we are locked in. I got a question for you. What's on your TV? Now, this is episode 3 of Black Mafia Family and it just keeps getting better and better. 50 Cent really got Starz in the chokehold right now. I'm talking about he's putting out show after show. But we got to get into this Black Mafia Family. Southwest T, he's waking up. We see he had that surgery on his eye. He may go blind. We don't know yet. I mean, if you know the real story, then you know. But as far as the show goes, he got that patch on. He's trying to get up out of there. And we know Meech, oh man, his family is blaming everything on him. But before we get into this episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you can be a part of it. Hit your subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. Now, we seen Mickey went ahead and killed the 12th Street boys, so we might have a war on our hand. The detective told Meek straight up, just ruffle him up. Don't kill him. But now we might have a war on our hand, and we got Lamar's crazy ass on these streets. So let's jump into it. This is Black Mafia Family, episode 3. We come from a God-fearing household. The Bible in our living room was always open on the same verse. We were just poor as shit, which caused all this other drama. Demetrius, Big Meech. Man, y'all know these boys is poor, and we about to see exactly how poor they were. I just told y'all how poor these boys were. Now, when they wake up in the morning, one of them's in there cooking. Now, he's cooking. He used up basically all the meat. Now, you know it's Meech, T, and their sister, Nicole. One of them just cooks so much of the meat. He makes a triple. They call it a triple meatloaf. Not even a triple hamburger, a triple meatloaf. So that tells you how poor they are. They don't even call it hamburgers. He cooks a triple meatloaf sandwich, and he leaves just enough for one of them. So they get into it and they like, hey man, you have to split that in half because there's 2 other people gotta eat. Now the little sister, she's in the living room. She ain't worried about none of that. She in there dancing. I'm talking about they looking at Soul Train. She grooving, but the brothers, they in here going at it. They fighting so much, they done broke all the china in the glass. I'm like, man, come on now. Now, me and my brother, this is a true story. Our older cousins lived with us, and they were in the living room fighting over who's going to use the VCR. We was playing Nintendo. We went up there, we watched them fight. We went back downstairs. But we all been there before. You and your siblings, y'all done got in a fight, and y'all done broke something. Y'all know y'all got to come up with some way to try to fix this, because you know both of you are going to get a whooping when mom or dad gets home. Just like y'all broke that stuff together, y'all get that ass whooped together. Mom in there, she tearing them up. But one thing about Meech and T is no matter what, they always had each other's back. So for anybody that never had a sibling, when me and my brother, we get in trouble, we get a whooping. They used to make us go take a shower together. After one get a whooping, they already be in the shower crying. The other one to get in the shower crying. But that's what it was, man. No matter where you are, if you got a brother, that's just how tight y'all are. One get in trouble, y'all both get in trouble. Now, if you remember, the stash house got broken into. Mickey also said that, hey, that was $6,000 worth of that dro. You know what I'm saying? We need to come up with a way to pay our boy Meech back. Now, Meech meets with Pat. If you don't remember, Pat is the OG. Pat is the man that put Meech and T in the position to be where they are. Now, Meech also wants to make Pat enough money that he can branch off and become rich. But until he gets to that point, he works for who? Pat. And Pat's saying, look, you got 6 days to make up all that money that y'all lost. And you owe me 10 points, which is almost like 10%. If you guys don't know anything about the dope game, don't ask me how I know, but that's how the dope game goes. And Meech is like, man, that's going to be tough. But that's what it is. You lose that work, you got to make up for that work. Now, the driver asked Pat, how are they going to make up for that? You know they can't afford that. But if you hear Pat and you listen closely, he said, I got them exactly where I want them to stay up under him. And that's just how the dope game is. He likes them, he put them in the game, but as long as they're working as hard as they're working, they're bringing in Pat money. That's less work he has to do, less chances of him getting caught. We finally get introduced to Pastor Swift. Now, Pastor Swift is played by our uncle Snoop D-O-double-G, and he's a smooth pastor. I'm talking about he's praying for our boy T. It's good that T made it through all of this. You know what I'm saying? He got shot, but he's still here. He still has his eye. But they start talking about T may have complications with his eye because of the surgery. Now, he has a family member that's just got through law and was like, hey, I'll take that case for you if there is some negligence that came from the hospital. So Pastor Swift, he seemed like he a little bit crooked because no pastor should be that smooth, but he's also looking out for the family. Pastor Swift, I'm gonna have to do with who he is on him, but he seems like a smooth brother. Thank you, Pastor. After all that, Meech shows up. Pastor Swift's in there like, hey, Meech, how's it going? But Pops pulls Meech over to the side and takes his keys from him and he takes that house key off him. He talking about, you got to knock on the door just like everybody else that don't live here. And Meek just like, what? I just came here to support my brother. Now he's looking like, dang, Dad, it's really like that? You ain't gonna let me just come up in the house? Okay. But that's how it is, though. When you don't want that trouble in your house, you gotta, stop blocking people from coming in. Easy access is easy access, if you know what I mean. Now, the brothers, they trying to figure out what they gonna do. Pat, we owe him in 6 days. When I say we, I'm talking about because I'm part of the 50 boys at this point. You know what I'm saying? Meech, T, Mickey, Mo, we out here. Kato, we out here. But they trying to figure out what they need to do. We know T keeps talking about the plan and how they not out there scraping for dollars. I keep telling you guys, back in the 80s and in the early 90s, Detroit, that was the powerhouse when it came to the industries, like the industrial industries, especially when it came to automotives. They had the whole country on lock. But they need to figure out how they're going to move around in these streets and actually make this money back, especially on this stiff deadline of 6 days. Lamar has been planning this for a while. He's smarter than what people think. Yeah, he's still a loose cannon, but what he's trying to do is set things up. Now, the 12th Street boys are talking about J-Mo's missing. Flamel got beat almost to death. That was by Lamar. No one knows it, and Lamar's just sitting there. All hands and all roads are pointing to the 50 boys. So Lamar gets up. He's like, nah, what we need to do is we need to attack them hard. We already got them boys where they at. So we need to put our foot on their neck and, take over the blocks one by one. So Lamar is trying to position himself to be back in charge like he was 2 years ago before he went to jail. Now his boy Skinny, Slim, he's like, yeah, we need to listen to Lamar because he been on these blocks and he been doing it before everybody else. Now most of the dudes, they ain't gonna say nothing because 90% of them are workers and they don't have a voice anyway. So if they go against what the upper the upper powers in the crew is, they're probably gonna be gone. So just like you and I, we just sitting back. It's like, hey, whatever y'all want to do, it is what it is. Now the cops get there and they got a question T about what happened. You were shot in a luxury Mercedes-Benz, more than what we make. Now, they didn't say it's worth more than what they make, but y'all know that Benz is worth more than what they make. And they're saying anyone that gets shot in a kind of Benz like that, they have to be dealing in the dope game. So the mom is like, yo, whoa, my son is an honor roll student. Now, the dad, we already know he's really never supportive of the kids, especially when they're doing bad. Like at this point, the cops are asking him questions. If your son is saying he doesn't know, then he doesn't know. But he's like, boy, did you hear me? You better answer. And he's like, I ain't had nothing to do with it. But the good thing about T is he has a loyal baby mama. And she says that her uncle gave her that car for a baby shower. Now the cops are trying to get the uncle's last name. And the mom's like, you know what? This interview is over. That's what you got to do. You got to stop it. One, we don't have a lawyer present. And two, he said he didn't know who shot him. So how you going to keep asking him questions about it? It's over with, brother. Leave us alone. When they leave, Detective Bryant's partner starts to question him. Hey, what was going on in there, man? Like, what do you got with these brothers, man? And detectives, he's like, look, they not going to answer any questions, especially in front of their parents. We got to make them comfortable. But y'all know how it is. Most people, when you see them on First 48 snitching, they too comfortable. They got that Coke in their hand. They probably got some McDonald's, some Burger King. Matter of fact, bring me in a steak, some Pizza Hut. And when they bring all that in, I'm still not snitching. But they want the people to be comfortable and to be, once they're comfortable, they'll be able to open up. So Detective Bryant is basically checking his partner like, look, I've been doing this before you was even in the force. So don't question me on what I'm doing. I'm doing my job and I'm doing it the best way that I know how. So Detective Bryant, we know he has some loyalty to them, but he's also going to try to do his job and get some people off the street. Mickey and Kato, they've been getting close. Now, you know the stash is at our boy Mickey's mama house, and they got a little bit of liquor and a little bit of smoke. They got it in. We don't know what really happened over there, but we know what happened, if you know what I'm saying. Now, they out here, they on the corner. You remember T was talking about going to the automotive industries and working up there because these people, they not hurting for money. They working 12-hour shifts. They gonna need some drugs. So T is having a surprise party, and they're like, she wants, Mickey to show up to it because she wants to see him in the bowling outfit. Now, Mickey is like me. I'm not really that good of a bowler. I'm not trying to go to the bowling alley. I'll go, I'll drink, I'll watch. I'm not really trying to bowl. But security pulls up and he looks at them. He doesn't even think that they're selling drugs. The first thing he thinks is prostitution. Good looking girl. You got a dude out here. You standing on the corner. These are hardworking men. Yeah, prostitution. Y'all need to get out of here, or if I come back, I'm calling the police. Lamar didn't lied his way, mixtaped his way back into some draws. Now he's over Mo's house and he's chilling with the daughter that isn't his daughter, and Monique has already done told him that it's not his daughter, but he's still trying to be in her life. They playing Monopoly. She's calling him dad and stuff. Turns out she done took up tennis. Her guidance counselor said this would be good for her. So what Monique is trying to tell Lamar is, look, if you're going to be here, you need to be here because you can get sent away easily. And he's like, look, I ain't going back. I'm here for you and the kid. You know what I'm saying? I just want to know my daughter better, and I'm not going to let anybody hurt you. AKA, I don't want Meech back over here because I seen that and it hurt my feelings. And that means I'd have to go back to the bathroom with that big girl over at the Steak and Shake, and I ain't trying to do that because that bathroom was filthy. But I'm here now. I'm not leaving y'all. Meech pulls up on Mickey and Kato. Now, we the 50 boys, right? That means we selling them things for 50. We ain't sold one for one. We like, come on now, y'all ain't sold nothing. So Meech is getting kind of upset. But he looks around and he sees everybody getting off work for lunch. And he sees these food trucks. Now, some of them are inside the fence and then one of them isn't. The truck behind them is ran by a guy named Fonzo. And he's saying it's $500 to be able to get a permit to go inside of the factory. Now, T was saying we need to sell it to the factory guys. So what Meech is thinking here is, okay, hey Fonzo, I'll pay that $500 for you to get that truck in there, but I'm gonna be slinging some rocks out of there, you know what I'm saying? So we'll be making money off of the food and we'll be making money off that rock. Boy, Meech is a genius. Detective Bryant brings in J-Mo's file. Now, Detective Bryant is the one that also took J-Mo to Meech. And he told Meech, don't kill him, just shake it up a little bit. What they do? They killed him. And Detective Brian looks at that and he's like, oh man, nah, I don't know who that is. Now their captain calls him in. He tells him, hey, look, this new detective here, she's in charge of all the drugs and all these criminal activities. So anything y'all need to run it by her. And she's from the state of Michigan. So you know she means business. Commander Beckwith. And you can look at them. They looking like, man, I really don't want to work with her. You know she about to be on their ass. She cracking down. Any information y'all got? Come on, bring it to me. Let's get it straight right now. Damn, Detective Brian, you're going to really have to watch your back now. Older Big Meech gives us a history lesson. In 1973, they elected their first black mayor in Detroit. And what he did was he came in and he started to shut down all of the dope pushers, everything. You moving drugs, I don't care if you white, black, Hispanic, purple, green, orange, it doesn't matter. You moving drugs, we will find you and we will lock you up. So he started to change the game, and this was 73. Now Meech and them got in the game in 80s. So that's right when Meech and them got in the game, things started to take a huge change, which really kind of made it hard for them. Now in the 80s when Meech and them got in the game, what the mayor did was allow different agencies throughout the state and in the city to come together and start cracking down on anybody moving drug within the city limits. Now for Meech and them, it was a little bit different because they didn't start off in actual Detroit. They started off in the little suburbs, Ecorse, Riverview, which was around Detroit, which put them right in the cross lines of all of the officers and agencies. And I told you, this put them right in the cross line and the crosshairs of all of the cops. You had the 12th Street boys and the 50 boys, so they knew who was at the top, who was running them, and what was really going on. But as long as you can't catch them with nothing in their hands, you couldn't do anything to lock them down. Exactly what I thought was going to happen. They paid the $500 to get the permit. Now they're talking to Fonzo, and they're like, T on the other end, he ain't really doing no talking. He's like, man, this is a roast truck. Now you can see Fonzo with the knife like, hey bro, you're not going to talk about my truck like this. But Meech is trying to tell him, all right, look, we'll do the $500 for the permit, but you got to let us use your truck. Fonzo's like, for what? He's like, we selling rocks. Now, he doesn't want to sell drugs out there, but he's looking at it like, man, all right, if I let them sell drugs out of here, they're going to give me, it looked like about $5,000. $5,000 a week to let them sell some rocks out of here? Let's see. This is 85, 86, 5,000 a week. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let them sell some rocks out of here. Fonzo says, all right, I'll do that, but on one condition. T got to apologize for calling my truck a roach truck. T was like, man, F you. He took his money and handed it to him, and then he walked off. But $5,000 a week when he wasn't making any money, just sitting outside sweeping the dirt, yeah, he's going to take that money. Flamel's in the hospital. I'm talking about beat to a pulp. You remember Lamar whooped on him, threw him in the trash can. Now, he didn't die, but he's all messed up. He has bandages over his head. He has his arm in a cast. He's in the bed. Lamar comes, brings him flowers. He brings him balloons, but then he gets on his ass. He's choking him out, talking about the world is big. It'd be unfortunate you don't get to see all of it. So what he's telling Flamel is, when you get released from the hospital, get in your raggedy car and get the hell up out of Detroit. But we seen Flamel had an offer from Meech, and it didn't look like he really turned it down. He only act tough because somebody seen him. So it's looking like when Flamel gets out of here, he can't stay on 12th Street because, you know, Lamar's here and Lamar's going to kill him. So it looks like he might team up with Meech. So, hey, that's a win for him. And as long as he has some protection away from Lamar, that's definitely a win. Meech and T, they go to the strip club. T is like, why are we in here? Not to mention T has this damn patch over his eye. Now, Meech is in here throwing money. He's giving money to the strippers because she's letting him know who in here smokes weed. You know what I'm saying? Who in here does a little bit of coke. That's her job. But Pat pops up and Pat's like, whoa, if y'all got time to be wasting my money up in here and y'all owe me money, I'm moving y'all delivery date up. Y'all got 3 days. And they like, man, that ain't fair. But y'all know Pat, he considers himself God because he got the plug. So he's like, hey, y'all need to get my money while y'all in here BSing. And the brothers are like, how the hell did he pop up on us? And Meech's like, man, I don't know, bruh. And T is like, dawg, we been in here just wasting money. After Pat leaves, Meech goes over to a guy he sees tipping some of the girls, you know what I'm saying? And he sits down next to him like, hey, I hear you like to have a good time, you know what I'm saying? That girl's feeling you. And the dude, he does like any man would do. Who are you? Do I know you? Meech is like, nah, you should know me. But what Meech does is he gives him some of that work for the low, you know what I'm saying? For free. Like, hey, take this if you like it. Hey, I'll be at the food trucks tomorrow. Pretty much just like earlier in any other dope shows we done seen and I done broke down to you. You get that product out for free. It spreads by word of mouth, especially in the 80s. Oh yeah, man, that truck over there, they got some good, you know what I'm saying? They got that coke. So now Meech is starting to network and this is going to get people to come over to Fonzo's truck. Now we really winning. Pop's over here starting to ask questions. He just showed up to Wanda's house. He's holding the baby. We ain't seen him with the baby in so long. Now he just showing up. He's like, oh yeah, hey Wanda, what about your uncle, Troy? She like, oh yeah, he lives in Pontiac. He doesn't live in Detroit. So yeah, he lives out by the Silverdome. That's why we only see him when we go to games and stuff. Now Terry shows up. He's like, hey Pops, what you doing here? He's like, you know, I'm just talking to Wanda about, you know, her uncle. Now Terry already knows where the uncle is. We know the card was Terry's, so he's just playing it off like, yeah, I went to get some formula, but my eye, you know, it started hurting. I came home. The dad is starting to ask questions. He's like, yeah, I want to meet, you know what I'm saying? I want to meet Troy. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. They're not going to let him meet Troy because if he meets Troy, he's going to be asking where the card come from and stuff like that. But he eventually leaves, and Wanda and T, they looking at each other, and Wanda's like, you got me lying for you. Come on, man. But T like, hey, it's part of the game, baby. All right, we got the food trucks out there. Meech is talking to Fonzo, like, all right, let's get to work. Now, Mickey's going to be the one actually out here serving them. You remember him and Kato were outside the gate. So he's in here smoking weed. Meech takes the marijuana from him and puts it out. He's like, hey, get focused. What he's saying is, hey, bro, we selling drugs here, man. You can't be smoking weed because if the police come by or if any of the managers or anybody on the shop, they see that, then we're done. Now, Kato, she sees it and she's talking about, look, it looks like you and Meech got problems. But one thing I can respect Mickey for, he said, me and Meech, we like brothers. So we may argue, but we still going to be back on business. Now, that can only go so far because if you start messing up money, then like brothers isn't brothers. But Kato is just saying, I want to be in a crew where I can move up and everything is going good. So I at least respect Mickey for saying, like, him and Meech, they may have disagreements, but they still, you know, kind of like brothers. Business is booming at the food truck. Now, what they have is a secret menu called the Stone Burger. And this is true because I've seen it happen even where I'm from. In Church's Chicken out here in Kansas City, they used to have people slinging that rock and marijuana through the drive-thru. You come in and you ask for something on the menu and they would do that. So they come in, they ask for Stone Burgers. And what they do is when you order it, they give you a bag, and then in each bag, they put some Coke in there for you. So it's like, okay, let me get 5 Stone Burgers, 5 fries, separate bags. Next person up, let me get 2 Stone Burgers. So people, they eating this up. Meech was a smart man, and one rule he had was we do not, and I repeat, we do not sell to white folk, because if we do, 9 times out of 10 they either police, or 10 times out of 10 they're gonna draw police over. So Meech brings everybody in and he tells them, look, we got 48 hours to sell everything. Whoever sells the most, I give you this Rolex. So for Meech, what he seen was giving people an incentive to work harder is what's going to make people work harder. Just like y'all go to work, they ain't going to pay me extra. I'm not about to work harder. They give you that overtime, you might work a little bit harder, but it's still regular pay. Now, if they say, hey, if you work harder, you get a bonus on top of what you get paid. Yeah. So a free rollie for just selling everything I got. Yeah, I'm about to be on that. Business is booming. I'm talking about we got shoe boxes full of money right now. You know what I'm saying? Them Adidas boxes is filling up with them 20s, them 100s, them 50s. Meech and T like, yeah, everything is good when we work together. Nah, that's one thing we know that's not going to happen. Things aren't going to be good forever. Detective Bryant shows up and he puts them both on the hood and he's saying, hey, J-Mo's been missing since I, handed him over to you. Now, Meech is saying we smacked him up, but we let him go. Now, we know the truth is Mickey actually killed him. But Brian is like, all right, well, there's a new task force being put together for drugs, so y'all need to be on the lookout. Now, they asking Detective Brian to look out for him, but he's like, I ain't going to have no wiggle room because, he got a new, we got a new commander in charge, so she's about to be cracking down. So Meech and them are like, uh-oh, what we going to do now? With this task force being formed, Detective Brian giving them a heads up, Meech comes clean about what happened to J-Mo, and he tells T, man, Mickey actually killed him. So now T is irate. He's like, were you there? Where's the body at? He's like, oh man, it's in the river or something. He's like, you weren't there to see where it is? We need to go holler at Mickey. I understand where T is coming from. Like, bruh, he could have this body just hidden anywhere and he can tell on you and Mickey can end up taking over the crew or something. You should have been there. But what he's telling Meech is, we heard him earlier, they want to go 50-50. He tells Meech, look, you can run this by yourself or we go 50-50. And Meech is like, all right, we can go 50-50. But the first thing we need to do before we get at Mickey is get this money together and go pay Pat and get some supplies so we can start cooking up on our own, because they want to branch out. But we also know Pat wants to keep them up under him. So I don't know how that's going to work with them trying to leave and Pat wanting to keep them. Meech shows up to drop the money off to Pat, but Pat's in here snorting up the drugs. He high as hell. People in here sleep. Girls are slow dancing by themselves to some flute music. So you like, man, what the hell is going on? But he brings that money with the 10 points. And and Pat's like, man, you want to party, man? You want to hang out, man? My man, 100 grand. And Meech is like, nah, we got this little party for T. So he's looking, he's like, man, I don't know what Pat's on, but this ain't how Pat normally is. Pat's normally on top of his game, but he coked out tonight. We know T is the educated one, the one that stayed in school. Meech, he dropped out. But what T did was, he's having this party at the bowling alley. He invited his teacher up there. Now, his teacher brought up an assistant, and, she looking kind of good, but that's a whole different story. But T got his homework brought to him. So what he's doing is, gaming the system, showing the teacher that I'm still interested and I'm trying. I got shot in my, my head and in my eye. I'm trying. So even if he doesn't do good on the homework, the teacher's still going to pass him for at least, showing up to get the work. All you have to do is put in a little bit of effort. Most of these teachers, they'll pass you. T also trying to figure out what the hell is going on. He asking Kato, where's Mickey at? Because we want to talk to Mickey to find out where that body at, to make sure he got rid of that body and he got rid of that gun, because we don't want anything to be traced back to us. He also wants to know what happened with Pat. Are we on? Did you get the supplies so we can start cooking up? Meech is like, man, not right now. T ain't trying to hear that. So from here on out, he's ruling with an iron fist. I mean, if you don't know what that means he's putting the fist down. He's laying the law down. No one's treating him like a hoe no more. He's 50-50 in all of this, and he wants to know what's going on, and people are going to answer to him. Here's an unexpected event. Lamar and Kato, they've been working together. Kato, when she left, she went to the bathroom. Lamar is in there, and he's like, look, you better not be reneging on a deal. I want to know everything about Meech. And she's like, I think there's something in between Meech and Mickey. So that's why she's been getting close to Mickey, because she wants to know exactly what Meech is doing. Now, she does know where the stash is because she was over there hanging out, getting drunk with our boy Mickey. So Lamar, he locks the door and is like, look, you better start telling me everything you know, because ain't nobody getting out of here until I get the answers I want. I would not have thought Kato would have been working with Lamar. The only thing she can do now is tell them that, hey, Lamar is looking for y'all. He's been asking me questions. If she can just play it like Lamar tried to question her and she doesn't have anything to do with it, that's the best thing for her to do. Because if not, they're going to have to kill her. 12th Street boys, 50 boys, they see each other in the bowling alley. Me just like, wait a minute. So that's who's running 12 now? Because J-Mo missing. Lamar's in front of her. You see Slim next to him. And you see Kato. She just walked up slowly too. Like, oh, nothing was going on. But T is like, that might be the dude that shot me. But Meech is like, hold up. Let's not start nothing in here. We gonna see about them though. So we might have a war on our hand. Next week, it might be crazy. So y'all need to make sure we tune in for episode 4. Because it's looking like this matchup, this head-to-head war is going down soon. Charles on some other stuff. Let's just be real. Now I understand. Yeah, your son, he paid off the mortgage. It's drug money, but he paid off your mortgage. You already took the key from him. You and your wife, you can live gracefully in the house. Now he's thinking she got the money from church. She's like, no, Meech did it. He's like, well, you need to figure out how to stop the payment. Sir, the mortgage is paid in full. That means you own the house now. There's no going back like, hey, take that $3,000, $5,000 off and let me make payments. It's over with. So Charles, he's getting out of control with it. He took it a little too far, probably because he wanted to leave anyway. So he's like, here's the key. You can give it to Meech and he can come and go as he please. I'm like, dog, you doing too much, man. The house is paid for, bro. Just go to work and chill. We know the downfall of most men come from a woman. Meech, he's pussy whipped, so he goes over Mo's house. Now, inside of Monique's house, Lamar has been there. We've seen that he's back in their lives. He's talking about, I need to warn you, Monique, about Lamar. It's for your own safety. Lamar in there. They grabbing each other through the damn bars. They going at it. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Meech pulls out that gun because, I mean, you know, hey, forget it. We done seen you. It's beef. You may have shot my brother. You hear Monique talking about, really, Meech? In front of my daughter? My daughter's here? Hey, your daughter's up in the bedroom. This 4-5 gonna make them fall. Lamar talking all this too? Yeah, he got to defend himself. Forget what Monique is talking about. Meech did the right thing. There you go, episode 3 of BMF. Let me know what you think about the war between 12th Street with the new leader Lamar and the 50 boys. How do you think that's going to play out? Do you think that Kato's going to turn on Lamar and help out, you know, T and Meech? Let me know what y'all think below. I'm Mo.J. If you like the content on the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I got a question for you. What's on your TV? And I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.